and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. Our aim is to shine a bright light on your inner splendor and assist to connect you to your magnificence via what we intend to be enlightened sharing, potentially educational and hopefully entertaining information, as well as encouragement for new perspectives. If you are new here, you are most welcome. We do hope that you will find our content highly beneficial and enjoyable. I am Liss. I'm a Science of Mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Lori. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Lori. We use this space to offer our perspective regarding multiple different topics that we certainly hope you find inspiring. Today, Liss and I are going to explore light. It's probably not what you think, but we're both going to share our perspectives regarding light and what that represents in our life, in life itself. I feel light is equivalent, I guess, to a divine spark that we all have, that we're all innately, inherently carrying with us. Some people refer to it perhaps as a flashlight. Some people perhaps think of it as divinity. I guess I look at it more as wisdom that I've grown into and kind of a guiding light for me is how I view light. And what it has meant in my life is it is, I guess, maybe a flashlight, you know, if we're going to bring it down a notch, but it's more than that. It's a divine flashlight that has guided me into decisions that have charted the course for the rest of my life, into relationships that may or may not have enhanced my growth. Well, I shouldn't say may or may not. Every relationship can enhance our growth, right? But for me, light has been in many ways healing, not just to my physical body, but to life itself. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation because light is everything. Light is all of life. And it's one of the reasons why Liss and I decided to even create this platform. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you and hear what you have to say.
Yes, Lori, our channel is called Light for Life for a reason. And I love your personal construct of what it means to you. And so many of us have a theological understanding of the origins of life. And so we're very comfortable with framing it in terms of the divine, in terms of the supernal, in terms of the supreme. But it doesn't have to be. In the beginning, there was hydrogen, right? It can literally be that simple. So while you can give credence to the ultimate creator, it's not necessary to do that in order to understand what light is and how to use it for life. Because yes, light is life. If there's a holy trinity for me, it is that light is life, is truth. And light and love and truth and life are interchangeable synonyms with each other. But what light actually is not what most of us think light is. We think that what we see as visible light is what light is.
Yeah.
But visible light is only one of light's properties. It's the property of illumination. And light has so many other properties. Light is frequency. It has a vibration. And it has scales of those frequency vibrations. And each of those is a color. Each of those is a musical note. Each of those is a spectrum in which incredible things form.
Mm-hmm.
And that is light's chief quality, is that it is information. It is what is informing that frequency, that color, that scale, that vibration of energy into something. It is forming it in terms of a sacred geometry pattern of energy flow that precedes what it eventually will become. So light is information. So yes, one of its properties would be the highest wisdom, because that wisdom is held in formation, in light.
Mm-hmm.
And darkness is not the opposite of that light, because it doesn't have an opposite.
Yeah.
Shadow is the natural consequence of illumination.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that when we came into the paradigm of light, which is what this universal experience is all about. We can't even conceive of a different paradigm. Try. You will hurt your brain. We can't imagine a paradigm that is not light. And its contrasting experience of illumination and shadow, and all the contrast and all the seeming world of opposites that it gives us to experience. But the fact is, light is only one paradigm. In a holographic, incredible fractal universe, there are countless other paradigms that we can't even imagine. But this one is all about light. It's all about understanding light, embodying light, integrating light, using light correctly, recognizing light's absence, and using the contrast. I mean, without contrast, we couldn't even physically see.
Right.
And we only see this tiny little sliver of the light spectrum. I think it's something insane like 0.1% of a tenth of 1/100th of the frequency scale. I mean, it's wild. There's so much out there that we can't see. But it's only thanks to the contrast we experience down here that we see anything at all. So light is truly everything.
Mm-hmm.
It is our energy. It is our life. It is our guide. It is what informs us. And it is also the frequency within which we can ascend.
So we mentioned a couple words here, and I wonder if we should break them apart a little bit. So we've mentioned light, frequency, and vibration. And for me, they're somewhat interchangeable, but perhaps they are slightly different in different ways. Do you feel like they're interchangeable as well, or do you feel like they're slightly independent of one another?
To some extent, both. Most things are and also when it comes to exploring these kinds of topics. Light, in its color spectrum, naturally holds various degrees of frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So the lower down we go in that spectrum of frequencies, the lower the vibration of the light. So the lower down we go, the less light there is, the more shadow there is, the denser that particular frequency band will be. And our materialized 3D reality happens to be a very low and dense frequency of light. But we can still pull in from higher frequency spectrums within that density.
I think that's a great explanation for somebody who's very new to a lot of this, to understand, and the other word that I was going to touch on is fractals, because, when you look at a prism and how light can affect, a prism is just one unit with different aspects of self, right? So we can kind of look at ourselves as a prism ourselves, where we can take in all different kinds of light frequencies, but we can also reflect all different kinds of light frequencies. So for somebody who might be really new to this, I think if we can break down in terms that are super easy to understand, is that there's just like there are such a wide variety of colors, there's a wide variety of light that goes along with those colors, and those frequencies go along with those lights and those colors. It's to me, it's a really beautiful mosaic. But to try to make it easy to understand, I think the prism is probably the best way. We can bring light in, we can emit light out, and it has a wide range, right? There's a big gap.
Yeah. I mean, the way that the prism functions is that a single beam of light, white light, hits the prism, and then the rainbow spectrum is what comes out. And so it's about understanding that. And to understand that not only are we the prism, but that prism is a fractal of a
Yeah,
larger one.
yeah,
And the nature of a fractal is that it's not a tiny piece of something. The
yeah.
nature of a fractal is that it contains absolutely everything that the whole thing contains in miniature form. And so we get to experience what's been so romantically called the music of the spheres, which is basically how all of life is summarized in a sphere that is in motion and creating patterns that create frequencies and create light and create color and create sound. And that we are part of that symphony. That
Mhm.
symphony takes place in our bodies. That symphony can be our lives. It's all
Mhm.
beauty, it's all art. And
Yeah,
we are using the light of life to create that with. We're all making rainbows all the time. We just can't always see them.
yeah. And isn't that beautiful that life can be just so fascinating in its brilliance and in its wisdom, and these frequencies can, like you said, create a symphony. Our life can be a beautiful dance, and dance in the light, right?
Yeah. And I mean, if there's one little violin off on, the corner of the orchestra that's not tuned properly, and it's making a cacophony inside of what is otherwise a gorgeous symphony, then, you don't criticize the violin and you don't smash the violin, you tune it.
Yeah.
You tune it
Yep.
so that it can play its part in this beautiful symphony. And that's what we're here to do for one another. You know, tune each other,
I love
attune
a
to
good
those higher frequencies.
analogy.
Hey, sweetie.
I just love a good analogy. You know, the violin might be a little wonky, or somebody hits the wrong key on a piano and everybody hears it, but it doesn't mean we throw the piano away. It doesn't
No,
mean that the whole thing is ruined. It just
no.
needs an adjustment.
It needs tuning. And if
Yeah.
we can think of ourselves as an instrument in the orchestra of life, what are we attuning to?
Mhm.
How are we tuning ourselves?
Mhm.
Because we're setting the tone.
Yeah.
So, what are we attuning to? And that's our
Yeah.
broadcast signal.
Right. What radio station are we set at? What frequency have we aligned with? And not just with what frequencies are we allowing in, but what frequencies are we broadcasting?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So if somebody is wondering how to start to attune to light, um, I guess one of the ways that I first started introducing this in my own self and in my own being was just to really get quiet in the sun. I am very, very, very drawn to the sun, and I know it's not quite the same because it's emitting light, but the sun, for in my opinion, has tremendously healing frequencies, and
Yeah.
I I would often kind of think of the sun as my reset button, helping me um, fill in some gaps that might have had some shadows and that might have had some low frequencies. But again, that's just me. That's just my personal experience, and I can extend that to other people. But there's probably 8 million people on this, no, 8 billion people on this planet, right? So there's probably 8 billion ways that we could tune into that light. What are some of your favorite ways, or what are some ways that you have found effective in the work that you do with others?
Well, Laura, yes, the sun is a wonderful analogy because one of the things we can use are the elements. Any of the elements will help us to attune to light because they hold the light.
Yeah.
They hold it in their elemental sacred geometry form. So we can use the water, we can use the air, we can use the earth in any way that it works for us to connect to. So the fire element is wonderful in the sun. It's also wonderful in staring at a candlelight. Water is wonderful in terms of breathing in ocean air, but it's also wonderful if I can just drink my water with awareness and appreciation. So the elements are definitely one of the ways that we can connect to light. The other way is to make the conscious choice that that's what we want to do. And to actually say to ourselves, in ourselves, I am choosing to be aware of the light.
Yeah.
And then it will dawn like the sun in your own mind and in your own heart and in your own experience. It's simply a conscious choice repeated until the light will lead you by itself to where it wants you to go. So awareness is crucial. It can also be something as simple as just connecting to love. And it doesn't matter who you love or what you love, whether it is your partner of 40 years or a chocolate ice cream. Connect to the frequency of love.
Yes.
Feel into it, attune into love. While you're having the chocolate ice cream, literally relish every ounce of the love that you're loving it with. And allow yourself to embody that love right along with the ice cream. So it doesn't matter what we love, but anytime we connect to love, we're connecting to light because they are one and the same thing. Anytime we connect to any of the elements in life, we're connecting to light because they are one and the same thing. Anytime we get curious and we start investigating things, we're connecting to the light because it's information.
Yes.
Anytime we trust our gut instinct and we give it credence, we're connecting to the light because it's intuition. So it's actually hard not to connect to the light, truth be told, because we can connect in so many different ways. And it doesn't matter which one works for you. What matters is that you do. Because the more light we can connect to, the more light we will have to shine on the shadows. And that's all the shadows want. The shadows want to disappear. And they do the moment the light is shone on them.
Beautiful. And I would say to go along with that is when we are curious and we are full of wonder about a thing, one of my favorite expressions is wisdom begins with wonder. But when we do find something that does spark joy or love or gratitude, I like to use the term stretch it out, meaning stay fully present with that experience and really focus all of our attention on what it sparks in us. So if we are feeling joy, or if we're feeling love, or if we're feeling gratitude, stretch it out, 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 and really fill our whole bodies, our whole energy field, our whole awareness with that whatever, the joy, the love, the whatever it is that we're feeling.
I always say, don't allow it to be fleeting. Don't allow it to be fleeting. Because what we do is we tend to stew and soak in the low and the negative things. And we latch onto them and we hold them for ages. But the good things we allow to slip through our fingers. Don't allow it. Don't allow those beautiful, wonderful, incredible moments to be fleeting. Stew in those.
Yes.
Because in fact, it's not a stewing, it's a bubbling. And yes, stretch it out, expand it, make the most of it for as long as possible. And by that, I don't mean eat a whole 2-liter ice cream. I mean, eat the ice cream that you're eating really slowly.
And truly enjoying it and not punishing the self for truly enjoying something that's bad for us, right? I like to joke that I'm
Nothing
going to
physical
marinate.
can harm me. There we go. And if you want the
Yeah,
whole 2 liter, then whom am I to tell you you can't have it? So yeah.
yeah. And I like to joke, I'm going to go marinate in joy.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm in the sun, it's my happy place, and I joke that I'm gonna marinate in feeling that joy and feeling the gratitude for being given the time and the space to just be outside in nature, in the sun, on the water, whatever it is, fully immersed and fully present in and cultivating that as part of my life. Like you said, we've developed some bad habits and we've cultivated those bad habits. How about we cultivate the joy and the peace and the wonder and the gratitude and the love?
Exactly. And that way we just automatically have so much more light.
And who doesn't want more light?
Exactly.
Until we meet again, we hope that you enjoyed this edition of Light as much as I did. And may you be abundantly blessed. Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. If you appreciate reminders, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can receive those notifications. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section of this channel.
Yes, thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us in the comment section below. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday. Until then, bye-bye and be joyful.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.